What are some examples of product bundling strategies, and how can I make my bundles work for me? So in this video, I'm going to show you a secret tip on how to increase your sales for your food products, or any product for that matter, online. And it's only by tapping into bundles. If you haven't understood or how this works, I'm going to break down some scenarios down behind me on the board here. I'm going to show you how to bundle your products and make more money per transaction than you have in the past. We're going to get to that right now. All right, guys, so welcome back to Marketing Food Online. So in this video, as I mentioned in the introduction, I'm going to go over several ways you could actually bundle your products online to create higher transaction amounts, making you more money and making it more efficient for you. If you are the one that's fulfilling the orders and having someone pack the boxes, if you made a profit of only a couple dollars a box or $20 or $30 a box, that makes a big difference. But how do you do that? How do you create bundles? And what is the most effective way to really make it profitable when you start selling products online? So welcome to Marketing Food Online. It's Damian Roberti, founder and CEO of Marketing Food Online. I, along with my wife, Sylvia, have been food entrepreneurs online for over 14 years now. We operate multiple e-commerce businesses, and the information I have here on the back I'm going to show you is actually something that I learned from someone over 12 years ago. It started with my business, and it has worked effectively for us ever since. So let's not waste any more of your time. I'm going to dive into those two specific questions. What are some examples of product bundle strategies? And then we're gonna get into how can I make my bundles work for me, obviously to make more money. So number one, increases the per transaction amount. So when you take a product and you have a single product, and let's just throw one out there. I always kind of use hot sauce as an example. I had a client of mine that I actually did a consulting call with that he asked about selling his hot sauce online. And he normally retails it at farmers markets and locally for around $9.99 a bottle, about $10 a bottle. And he sells it individually, but he has multiple flavors of the product. So I asked him, have you ever thought of bundling the products together, creating maybe a 3-pack or a 4-pack, which would increase the actual transaction amount? That allows you to make more money per transaction as opposed to making multiple transactions to make up the difference. And he said, no, actually, I never thought of doing that. So I asked him, how many different flavors of his hot sauce does he have? Well, he had like about 3 to 4 different flavors that I was working with that he was making. So I mentioned to him, you know what, there's about a dozen different ways that you can actually bundle 3 or 4 varieties of a product. So when it comes to food, obviously, if you have one single type of product, but you're working on maybe 4 or 5 different flavor profiles or different variations, that opens up the door to some really serious bundling opportunities when you could create 4-packs, 5-pack, or even a 6-pack of your product. Now, of course, this concept is nothing new. But when you start implementing it online, if you're brand new to e-commerce, or even if you're selling food from your home or from farmers markets or fairs and festivals or wherever it may be, if you bring together more than one, it's a good likelihood you're going to create a lot of these, what I'm about to show you on the back, for your customers and allow them to buy your product at a better price point. Plus, they just get a variety of different flavors. So number one, that increases your per transaction amount. We just got into that. So instead of taking a $10 bottle of Tabasco sauce or hot sauce, he ended up doing 3 or 4 together. Now you're creating a $40 or even $35 transaction, which is much more beneficial for you as the food seller. Number two, exposes your customer to a larger product line. So again, back to what we were saying about the variety of items that you have. If your customers have only ever tried one of your products, or you're only selling one flavor to your customers online, by doing bundles, it's going to allow you the opportunity to expose them to, hey, 5, 6, or even 7 different things that we offer all in one single transaction, which could create a customer who is a return customer, because maybe out of the 4 bottles of hot sauces, there's 2 in there particularly that they liked and enjoyed a lot. And that's going to bring them back to your website. That's going to bring them back to your Amazon store or your eBay store, wherever you're selling your product. So keep that in mind. It's going to expose them to a lot more of your own products. Number 3, value for the customer. Now, obviously, the big box stores have known this for years. You go to Costco, go to Sam's, any wholesale club knows this. That's why you see large bundles of products, like a 27 or 30 gallon drum of ketchup, along with some mustard. And they put the 2 together and shrink wrap it, and then they sell it to you for $20 or $30. Of course, that's a little bit of a joke, but if you operate that way and you think outside the box and offer them in larger containers or larger quantities, but then a variety or mix them with different packages, that's going to give a value to the customer, and they're going to see that value. And that way it's going to bring them back for even more. So hypothetically, if you're selling on Amazon, and maybe you're doing toasted coconut or a variety of ice cream toppings, and you're in the business to do ice cream toppings, if you bring together like a pound bag of 4 or 5 different variations of toppings, and then you come across an ice cream truck or ice cream vendor that's really interested in buying them, that's going to be more of a value for them to buy it in that type of packaging, and that's bundling, okay? Number 4, more volume of products sold. So for you as the seller, and if you are the manufacturer or maker of the product, you're going to be able to move through a lot more of your product instead of maybe a few thousand units a month, maybe tens of thousands of units a month, because you're bringing together, again, a bundled package of individual units. All of those units add up. So if you're doing 4 or 5 units in one single bundle, you're not going to just sell maybe 1,000 units a month. Maybe you're going to sell about 5,000 units a month. That's another way to look at the benefit of bundling the practice. Number 5 is cross-product promotion. Now, this is something that's interesting because if you were in the business, and I'm going to throw some examples out there. If you were in the business of, let's say, selling coffee. Now, obviously, coffee has a lot of different things that you can sell with it. And believe it or not, even some people incorporate other products that are not even the coffee beans or ground coffee, such as maybe a French press coffee maker, or maybe even a coffee mug, and maybe even some creamers, maybe some shelf-stable creamers, things that are not refrigerated, that don't have to require ice packs and such. But they bring them together. Then I've gone on Amazon and seen this hundreds of times. They have a multi-pack of all of these products. It's almost like a gift box in a sense, but you're able to sell even more products and then cross-promote those products with other items that are not exactly the same as coffee beans, but they go with coffee and drinking coffee. So it makes sense to put them together. So if you had a handful of different products, cross-product promotion is an idea that allows you to actually sell a multitude of items, but they're all kind of go together. Next up, number 6, multi-category and exposure for other items. So for instance, there's a lot of websites that do this. If you go on to, I believe it's nuts.com, this is a website that sells like 5,000 or 6,000 different items. But what they do sometimes is they've got everything from snacks to trail mixes to dried powders to superfoods and nuts, all kinds of things. I've noticed that they actually use a lot of different category products and bundle them together because they've noticed that at checkout, some people are buying these different products, like a pound of nuts here or a pound of superfood products or dried powders. So it offers them an opportunity for multi-category promotion, giving them a chance to sell even more products that have nothing to do with each other.
All right, so next up and lastly is how can I make my bundles work for me? So the first thing you want to do is focus on what sells. Now, specifically, that means that if you've got a handful of bundled products, what you want to look at is what of those bundles are actually selling the best, fastest, and what are you turning over the most, because that way you can focus on promoting those, maybe offering discounts on them, or creating additional bundles from those bundles that are actually working and working well for you. Now, keep in mind, when you start to put the products together, you have to experiment a little bit with it. See exactly what is selling, even though you're combining a value proposition to a lot of customers by bringing them a handful of flavors or a different variety of products. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to go over very well. So keep an eye on what is actually selling, and then from there, you can focus on those products and potentially bringing those together and creating larger bundles for your customers. Next up, higher ticket items. So focus also on the higher ticket items. If you've got products that are potentially $30, $40, even $50 a piece, and you're bringing together 3 or 4 of those, now you're talking about over $100 or $150 for a single transaction. And if you're looking to move higher ticket items, experiment with it again. Bring together a variety of those higher ticket items and see how they do as far as their bundling. And again, that'll take you back up to the first one. Then you can focus again on those higher ticket items, and that makes you more money per transaction as opposed to making a multitude of smaller transactions. Lastly, create sales dedicated to those bundles. So you've got a handful of bundles, they're doing great, they're selling really well. You want to move more of them. Be aware of what time of the year it is, because as you get closer to the holiday season, you can run specific sales on those bundles, or even if it's a summer product that would sell better in the summer. Prior to summer coming out, you have the opportunity to run sales and discounts on those bundles, helping you move even more of the product. So you want to keep that in mind as far as what the seasonality of a product is, because it gives you the potential to run specific sales dedicated to that group of products. Those are another great way to move a lot of bundles and in turn move a lot of your product. So if you've got any questions on what are some examples of product bundle strategies as we covered, let us know down in the comments. If you've tried some of these, let us know how some of the bundles have worked for you if you're an e-commerce seller or a seller from your home or localized business retailer. Also, let us know if you've got any more questions on any type of food business or food entrepreneurship in the comments. We love to create video content based upon you guys' questions. And of course, we will see you on our next video. If you want some additional resources, you may want to stay tuned and check out one of these 2 videos right here. They give you some more information on how to sell online. I'll see you guys on our next video.